My head is swimming. How can the person Jane is having me search for be the owner of the mansion I was told she was working out of? This must be a trap, a way to finally get rid of me by the corrupted elite. I should try to get rest. But even 2 hours seems like too much after these nights. I still don't know what happened to me at that library. It seems like a blur now. Maybe I passed out somewhere due to a lack of sleep and confused a nightmare with reality. And how did Jane know where I was if she wasn't following me? Still asking questions to throw me off the scent. I think tomorrow will be a good time for me to check out this mansion, but I need to be careful. If they're trying to set a trap for me, they won't stop until I'm taken care of. Another storm. It's been raining almost every day since I first met Jane. Almost like my trauma is somehow affecting the weather. Can that be? Who is it? I'm trying to get some sleep. Come back in the morning. My mind must be playing tricks on me again. Hallucinations brought on by insomnia. That must be it. I really need to close my eyes. But I also fear the dreams that will come when I do. Hello? Who's there? Show yourself. I'm armed. No one could have snuck in around me. I really need some sleep. This isn't real. This isn't real. No! Stay out of my head. This isn't real. This isn't real. This isn't real. Ah!
Darryl, is everything okay? It's me, Jane. We need to talk. I heard you screaming. What's happening? Darryl, please open up. Darryl!
Welcome to the quest for the Green Ball, lost in dreamlands. The cream keeps rising to the top like Randy Savage in this league, but the middle continues to hover around hoping for consistency. And there are a few teams already looking destined for a potential playoff run, while some others have potential but look to be stuck in a grueling playoff race. And then there are those at the bottom hoping for a miracle. The good and bad news is that there is still over half a regular season to go and nothing is clinched yet. But let's get to another week of wild performances, starting in the last as Risky Business traveled to take on the Clash at Demonhead in Barcelona in 1992. Clash at Demonhead clinched the win on Monday night with 107 yards and a touchdown from Garrett Wilson to end up with a 119.72 to 105.2 win. Jordan Love was a big reason for the victory with 258 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. Jaden Reed added a touchdown and Trey McBride collected 96 yards. Jamison Williams finished with 87 yards and a score, and Brandon Aubrey chipped in with 3 field goals, including a 50-plus yarder. Baker Mayfield led Risky Business with 325 passing yards and 4 touchdowns, both quarterbacks strong here. Mark Andrews also came to life with 66 yards and a score. Josh Jacobs added 90 yards, and Kaimi Fairbairn finished with 5 extra points and a couple of field goals. Player to watch DeAndre Swift stepped up for the Clash at Demonhead with 119 yards and a touchdown, while Risky Business had a big game on the other side by J.K. Dobbins, who finished with 102 yards and a score. The Clash at Demonhead moved to 3-3 and is in second place in the European Void, 1 game back. Risky Business falls to 3-3 and is in second place in the Asia Pacific Void by tiebreaker, just a game back of first as well. That was a high-scoring struggle for both squads and a common theme for Risky Business every single week, it seems, although he fell short this time. But what about the rest of the league? Let's break it all down in the best of the rest. The Titans traveled to take on Minerva's Minions. It did just enough in a 100.3 to 98.6 win to retain the Golden Pen. Tyler Bass gave them a scare on Monday nights, but he came through in the end with a 20-yard field goal when it mattered in the final 5 minutes of the game. Brock Purdy was the difference with 3 touchdowns, while A.J. Brown came back from injury to drop 116 yards and a touchdown. Chuba Hubbard finished with 102 yards, and Jamar Gibbs chipped in 91 yards. The Steelers' defense also stepped up with a sack, a couple interceptions, and 2 fumble recoveries. Terry McLaurin had 2 touchdowns to lead the Minions, while Stephon Diggs, Kenneth Walker, and Amon-Ra St. Brown also scored. Kirk Cousins threw for 1 touchdown in a disappointing game, and Saquon Barkley had the rare down game at the worst possible time. Remember, the Titans moves to 5-1 and is in first place in the American Void now, number 1 in the league. Minerva's Minions falls to 2-4 and is in third place in the European Void, now 2 games back of first place. Defending champion Green Acres traveled to take on Loki Lebowski Thor and used the power of streaming for a dominant 126.14 to 86.06 win. Caleb Williams was a maniac with 226 passing yards, 56 rushing yards, and 4 touchdowns, though he did throw a pick. The Buccaneers defense added 5 sacks, 2 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries, and a touchdown of their own. Sam Laporta had a 50-plus yard score, and Tyler Lockett and Deontay Johnson added touchdowns. Chris Boswell also did well with 4 field goals. Jalen Hurts led Lebowski Thor with 2 scores, and Elvin Kamara and Chase Brown also reached the end zone. Ellen Lazard added 114 yards, including a 50-plus yard touchdown on a Hail Mary pass on Monday night. Green Acres moves to 3-3 and is in last place in the Asia Pacific Void still because of tiebreaker, but tied for second by wins and losses. Low-key Lebowski Thor falls to 1-5 and is in last place in the European Void. More Than Conquerors travel to take on Air Jordan as another road team earning a victory, knocking off the hosts 108.86 to 77.76. David Montgomery had 80 yards and 2 scores to back up his new contract, while Deebo Samuel led the way with 117 yards and a 50-plus yard touchdown. Hunter Henry was a great tight end streamer, reaching the end zone, and Austin Seibert added 3 field goals. Kyler Murray added a touchdown as well. Joe Flacco was an injury replacement who scored twice for Jordan, and Tank Dell added a touchdown. Cortland Sutton also scored, and the Packers defense and Cameron Dicker combined for 24 points. More Than Conquerors moves to 4-2 overall and is in first place in the European Void. Air Jordan falls to 1-5 and is in last place in the American Void. The Stellar Bitches traveled to take on the Elite Mother Tuckers in Moscow 24-35, and the home team was the one surviving a very close 95.42 to 93.52 game. Bijan Robinson was a stud with 105 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Tony Pollard had 88 yards and a score. Devontae Smith also added a touchdown, while George Kittle caught 2 scores on Thursday night. Joe Burrow had a 57-yard touchdown run to add to his stats for the Stellar Bitches, and Najee Harris had 122 yards and a touchdown himself. Zay Flowers chipped in 134 yards, but that was all. The Elite Mother Tuckers moved to 3-3 and are in third place in the Asia Pacific Void by tiebreaker. The Stellar Bitches fall to 4-2 and are now in second place in the American Void. Lastly, Pounders hosted the Overcomers in Beijing 31-45 and pulled away on Monday night for a 99.66 to 90.48 win. Breece Hall finished with 169 total yards to give Pounders the victory. Jaden Daniels added 2 touchdowns, 269 passing yards, and 22 rushing yards. Chris Godwin had a big game with 125 yards and 2 scores, including a 50-plus yard touchdown. The Texans' defense showed up at 4 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 2 fumble recoveries. C.J. Stroud had 3 touchdowns, while Derrick Henry was a beast yet again with 132 yards and 2 touchdowns to lead the Overcomers. Drake London added 74 yards and a score. Pounders moves to 4-2 and is a game in first place in the Asia Pacific Void. The Overcomers fall to 3-3 and are in third place in the American Void, 2 games out of first place. The power rankings are sure to see some movement after Remember the Titans, with the clash at Demonhead and Pounders looking strong. Of course, the Stellar Bitches fell this past week. The defending champions may rise after a big win. Still, this is the latest we've been in a season without a clear number 2 or number 3 behind the number 1. And the computers, with the rest of the season rankings, are still not accurate enough to give clarity as to who the true playoff contenders are, it seems. The only thing that matters, though, is wins and losses, and there are several teams feeling good about their starts to this campaign, including the Stellar Bitches, regardless of the loss last week. That's the show! Hope you enjoyed it. Before you go, check out the updated power rankings. Until next time, salut.